I'm Jessica Hood, Director of Solution Engineering and Innovation for Salesforce.org.
And I'm Derek Laney, Head of Product Marketing in Asia Pacific.
And how excited are you for this next show and everything to come that's new for marketers?
There's a lot new for marketers, and we have to thank for that our trailblazers. We have our trailblazers right here. Hello, Elliot. Great to have you here. And we also have the guys that wrote the book. It is The Age of Intelligence. But if you're having trouble keeping up, there's a great page turner that you can check out. Just get it online. Jessica.
Thank you, Derek. So as my first guest today, I'd love to invite up Amit Dewal, who is the Chief Strategy Officer and Executive Vice President for Aon. Give him a warm welcome here, folks. Now, Amit, I know that at Aon, you have been leading the way when it comes to transforming the world of insurance brokerage. And you know, what was really the tipping point for you to start kind of creating that disruption?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Thanks for the opportunity. And I thought I'd be a trailblazer myself by being the only guy in a tie in this room. So just to set the standard. So great question around our tipping point. It really was twofold. It was a mandate to grow. Aon's the world's largest insurance broker. So thinking of our clients has always been top of mind for us. But there was a recognition that the way our clients are expecting us to engage with them was evolving, and so we needed to reinvent ourselves in terms of innovation. So Aon's made massive investments in technology, in data and analytics, in CRM, and we are underway.
Great. Well, when it comes to connecting with consumers, you had done a lot with multi-channel strategy, but now you're really moving into omni-channel. So how is technology helping to support that?
Yeah, look, for us, the journey started a few years ago. It was never a technology project, but we recognized that it had to be centered around technology. So where we are at right now, it's a business transformation. And it's the biggest change, I would say, that's happening is breaking the silos. It's breaking the silos in the way we were organized and literally trying to create some harmony between the technology and the way our business is designed, is architected.
Great, great. Well, I know it's also been a shift internally for you as well. So what has it meant for staffing and for new roles and things like that as you've been innovating?
Yeah, it's really having huge, questions and things that we're having to do in order to transform. So the creation of new roles, functions, data analytics, and so forth. But it really is going all the way down to how we attract and retain and develop our talent. I would say that's the biggest impact that we're having to rethink.
Great. Well, Amit, thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your Dreamforce, and maybe later you can take that tie off. Derek, who are you with over there?
Thanks, Jessica. AARP is the nation's largest non-profit, non-partisan organization dedicated to the over 50s. And I have with me here CIO Amy Doherty. Amy, tell us, what do we need to change as marketers when it comes to the over 50s market, and how are you disrupting aging?
Great question. So first, consider the enormous size of this market. The longevity economy, which is the sum total of all economic activity driven by the needs of 50-plus Americans, is $7.6 trillion. So that's larger than the economic activity of any country except for the US and China. But it's not just the size of this market that needs a new approach, it's the nature of the market. This idea that older Americans are not tech savvy is increasingly out of date. Older Americans are not some decrepit, separate species. At ARP, we are disrupting aging by shattering stereotypes about older adults. We recognize companies that are trying to build an intergenerational workforce and that value older workers. We created an innovation fund to promote the stimulation of products and services that promote good health and independent living. As our CEO says, Joanne Jenkins, 60 is not the new 40. 50 is not the new 30. 50 is the new 50.
And everyone here in the room, Amy, is probably either a customer or a prospect of yours, and many organizations around the world are modeling themselves on you. And you're working at some incredible scale. Tell us, how are you using Salesforce to reach this enormous community?
So we use technology as a scaling factor for sure in a big way. We're using Marketing Cloud to reach our member base in a digital way. And at ARP, the heart of ARP is our volunteers, and we use Community Cloud to connect with them digitally.
And Amy, what is the one thing that as marketers you'd like us to think differently about when it comes to the over 50s market?
Oh, I would like you to think of our later years as a time of new possibilities. Just last month, 3 Americans won the Nobel Prize for Physics for their work in gravitational waves at the age of 85, 87, and 93. But it's not just geniuses who are making waves later in life. The number of people who are working past the age of 65 has almost doubled in 30 years. Excuse me. And so...
That's quite all right. You're doing an amazing job, an incredible interview. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Amy Doherty. Over to you, Jess.
Thanks, Derek. Now, many of you probably know the name Mars from some of your favorite candies, but there's so much more that this company is doing. And I'm excited to be joined today by Nicky Green, who is the Global Director of Digital Solutions with Mars Drinks, and Tony Cicero, Managing Director of Acumen Solutions. Now, Nicky, let me start with you. You know, you provide beverages that bring people together at work. So how are you communicating with your customers to keep people like me awake at the job and collaborating with my colleagues?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. So actually, Mars is just going through a big transformation program at the moment where we're actually having to put the customer at the heart of everything we do. So this transition from being a product-centric business to a customer-centric business. So that includes digitally interacting with all of our customers, using tools such as Pardot, and really giving our customers the opportunity to communicate with us in different ways. So we recognize now it's not just about face-to-face or over the phone, it's opening up other channels like chat and different ways, customer portals, different ways of customers being able to interact with us.
That's fantastic. Now, what does the Internet of Things mean to you going directly to consumer? Because that's not your direct customer there. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, so this is where it starts to get really exciting for Mars Drinks as we move into this space. So we are just at the start of our IoT journey, but we've recognized that actually for all of our time so far, we've never actually been able to get at the consumer, so the person who's actually drinking our coffee. So IoT is enabling us to interact with the consumer right at the machine, so push content to them, engage with them, talk to them about our new products that are available, and actually consume their feedback, get their feedback back about our product as well, so that we're getting that real time. So yeah, it starts to get really exciting in this space.
Very good. Now, Tony, you and Acumen have really charged Mars to think bigger about what they're doing. So what's had the biggest impact in their success from your perspective?
Yeah, thank you. So we bring the perspective of working with many other leading CPG companies, and as you mentioned, really challenged Mars to think big. So one of the first steps was to really lay out a long-term future state vision for the business. And we focused on the core capabilities, but really taking a look at leading edge technologies such as artificial intelligence and IoT. And as Nicky mentioned, sort of being able to understand who your customer is and your end consumer is really a game changer when it comes to service, marketing, sales. So it's really interesting things that are being done. Most importantly here today, we have a break room of the future modeled in our booth in the expo hall, and I would encourage everybody to come immediately after this session and enjoy a Mars Drinks.
When is the coffee ready in the morning?
Always.
Excellent. That's what we want to hear. Nicky, Tony, thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great rest of your Dreamforce.